Hey everybody, it's Attempts at Governance, episode 262, all about Polkadot today. And we have maybe a short and sweet show for you. We'll see how it goes. We'll see who joins as we go along. Welcome to everybody on the panel today. Looking forward to getting the state of the funk. But first we're going to start with the state of the Treasury, which is looking great today. We are up. No, wait. Actually, we're down 10,000 dot. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm showing the wrong screen here, everybody. Hang tight. Hang tight. What on earth? There she is. We're down 10,000 dot, everybody. Sorry to report. Down 10,000 dot to 28.35 million dot across all the treasuries and bounties. But we're up 370,000 USDT to 3.818 million. And we're up a nice 40,000 USDC to 4.54 million. That's the state of the treasury. We'll now throw it over to Funky. Oh my God, Funky. Are you okay? What's the state of the funk today?
The state of the funk is damaged because yeah, I got it everywhere. I mean, on my hands. I look like a badass boxer though, so it's kind of nice. You know, no one's gonna mess with me. I was out running, and for the second time ever in my life during a run, I actually fell. And when that happened at 27 years old, and I was still training in martial arts, I instinctively rolled. My leg was banged up, but the momentum kept me running, and I just had blood running down my leg. Not so much the other day. So was just running unfamiliar turf, looking to the right, make sure there was no traffic. I was running left. My foot caught some like busted up asphalt. Next thing I know, I'm just like trying to break my fall, and the whiplash took me into the asphalt. So now I have 5 nice stitches here, and a dope scar that's gonna cut right through my eyebrow. So if nothing else, I look like a badass when it's all over. So I'm all good, Jay. No worries.
You certainly look like a badass, man, but I'm very sorry to see your damage here. I mean, that looks like a lot of... How fast do you run, dude? That's a lot of energy, right?
I wasn't even running my pace. I was actually kind of going slow, which I think contributed to the problem because I wasn't picking up my feet. I was going like a 9-minute mile instead of my normal like 7.5.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Damn, bro. Glad you're okay, man.
Welcome to 50. That's tomorrow. So
no shit.
A good milestone.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Tomorrow's the big 50 for Funky, and you're actually going to start a new show.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about it.
So I'm basically just doing, and you should come on at one point, just on Fridays, sort of like a talk show, but just getting away. I'm calling it the digital version of touching grass. So like not talking about crypto, talking about life, how people got to where they are in their journeys, those kinds of interesting things. So would love to have some of you guys on as guests in the future. Added all sorts of fun things to my sound pad, like and yes, I'm funky. All sorts of little bits of songs from the 90s, because funky was sort of the ubiquitous term in many hip hop songs throughout the 90s. And that's partly where my AOL screen name from 1995 came from, and hence why I'm funky today.
Yes, sir. All right. Nice to have you here, Funky.
Thanks,
And
Ray.
looking forward to the new show. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we're now going to throw it over to Limo for a look at the refs gone by.
I don't believe Funky's story. He's seen a Cardano maxi in the street.
That's
You
it.
want to see what that other guy looks like? Oh my god.
Ouch.
Okay, there's only 4 refs gone by this week, so we'll get into them. The first one is by Donald Murray of the Fellowship on the whitelisted collar track, ref 1700. This was approved, and it upgrades the remaining systems change to version 1.6.x and fixes XCM version subscriptions. Then we've got Camille that was on the show a bunch of times. Ref 1689, this was approved. It was pretty close, but I'm happy it got approved personally.
Yeah.
And this is for 288,000 USDC for Quadrivium Polkadot SDK improvements. Then we have Perkabiz, Ref 1686. This was approved too. And this is for 62,000 USDC for Perkabiz retroactive request for May to July 2025. And finally, we've got Sal the Weekend, a big tipper, ref 1707. This was rejected, and it was for 9,500 USDC for compensation for Chris or Len Polkadot's participation and representation at the University of Miami. And that's all the refs come by this week.
All right. Thank you very much, Limo. I did want to point out something on the whitelisted caller track, but I can't find it here because the preimage was removed. But this was getting elastic core time going, and then the preimage was removed. Let me see if I can find that here. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, deciding. This is enable RFC 103. Enables RFC 103 feature in the relay chain runtime. If approved and acted on the 8th, it will make elastic scaling live, but then looks like the preimage was actually pulled here. So I'm not really sure what happened there. Anybody have any news on that? Tommy, looking at you.
My only thought goes towards like maybe they discovered something and they want to wait it out a bit more.
Yep. Okay, well we'll have to stay tuned for elastic scaling and the completion of Polkadot 2.0. But now we're gonna get going with the first topic that we want to discuss today. Title ref. Referendum 1729, open gov proposal for Treasury USDT and USDC dollar cost averaging. Now, we've been doing this for, I don't know, over a year now, maybe a year and a half, gradually turning volatile DOT into stable tokens to pay for fiat-based expenses. We've talked about this lots on the show. We used to lose a couple $1,000,000 a year to people either running away with DOT that was more valuable than the dollar amount they requested, or coming back to request more DOT when they received a lower value than they requested. So we've been doing this great campaign on hydration. 2.64 million DOT on this one. Limo, what's the details here? This is DCA just like we've done before, or anything changed?
Yeah, this one, 1729, is similar to the previous one. I forget which way around it is, but the previous one, it's either selling a fixed amount of DOT or buying a fixed amount of stables. This is the opposite of that, whichever one that was. This one, 1729, is nothing new, really. 1728 did have something new, but we decided to put 2 refs up just so token holders can express their sentiment a bit better. Like you said previously, when we were just paying out stuff in DOT, for like products or services, what ended up happening was either the treasury paid more than it should, unless people sent money back, or paid too little for the product or service, which then led to top-up referendums and just a lot of time wasting, to be honest. So this is basically buying stable coins for the treasury, because businesses that do stuff on Polkadot, like infrastructure, even BD stuff, like the whole range of everything, right, have expenses in fiat. So it makes sense to give them a currency that represents a fiat value, right?
Yep.
In my opinion, this isn't controversial. I'm sure there'll be some people saying, "Oh, you're selling DOT when it's low." it's either we pay for services that help people like come to or build on Polkadot, or we don't, and then we don't have that, which makes it even worse, right? At least that's my opinion.
So it looks like this particular call is getting a fixed amount of USDT and a fixed amount of USDC every time. So every trade, we're looking to acquire 80 of each. And per day, we're looking to acquire 28,800 of each. And then once it hits 5,000 of either, that gets sent to the treasury for responsible spending. Yes, Lima.
Yeah, no, when we did our Woody Wednesdays yesterday, Jay.
Very nice to have you in. Yes, sir.
A comment there was about sell pressure and stuff like that, and why can't we OTC it and things like this. So this is spread over like a long period of time. Like each individual trade really doesn't have any price impact. And what happens on DEXs is there's people that arbitrage the price. So if the price on hydration is like 2 cents lower than another DEX or a CEX, people will buy it on hydrations, then sell it there. So the price normally does normalize. If we OTC'd it, then you're locked in at the current price basically, and then whoever buys it from the OTC likely is just going to sell it if the token goes up by a certain percentage anyway. So in my opinion, it's not anything to worry about the price. It's done responsibly over like 6 months, so it's not a massive impact all at once.
Combined, what is this? 57,600 a day, 57,600 a day. Pretty low compared to the volume of Polkadot across the world. So yeah, we're probably just easing into this. So at current prices, this is going to last 183 days. But if the price of DOT goes up, it'll last a lot longer. If it goes down, it'll take a little bit less time to get through. But okay, so what's the vote here right now? Just checking real quick. This is a brand new... Oh, we almost have nobody voting, so this is not really relevant right now. 6 accounts voting here, currently sitting at 34.4% in favor. We'll see what that looks like next week. Yes, Limo.
There's also a comment from my good friend Anton at the bottom, because in Europe, there's this, I think it's called MiCA Act, which basically USDC is the thing that companies there want to use. So he was like, why don't we maybe get more USDC? We need to reply to this, the people that submitted the ref. But basically, USDT still has a higher market cap. It is used by a lot of people still. And if you look historically at the Treasury, people do request USDT. There's people that are not in Europe that might be able to request it, for example. But going forward, like this might be something that we want to talk about, is maybe we go to like, I don't know, 60% USDC, 40% USDT or something. But personally for this one, I don't think it's a blocker, but if the DAO would want more USDC than USDT, then it's a discussion we should probably get having for like the next DCA, for example.
Hey, if Europe is still standing after 184 days, maybe we can talk. I don't really know what's happening over there. I just know what I see on X. Okay, jokes aside, let's move on now to the next ref. We have ref 1697 with our friend Anthony. Anthony, it's been a while. Nice to have you back on the show. This is tranche 3.
Lovely to be back.
Very nice, very nice. 128.33 thousand USDC, and about 2/3 of the way through the decision period. This could go either way. 26.6% in favor. Sir, the floor is yours. 8 minutes on the clock. What do you want to tell us?
Thank you very much. First, lovely to be back. Second, so yes, we have broadly stage 3 of our year. Well, it's supposed to be a year long. It ends up being about 18 months long, even a bit more program to bring developers into the Polkadot ecosystem. This is the third bit, which is an acceleration piece. We've very nicely, thanks to the Web3 Foundation, worked very closely with them on the cohort, the curriculum, the cohort, the topics, etc. That has meant it's gone a bit slower than expected because we wanted to tie in with certain releases around Polkadot VM and now Polkadot Deploy and make sure it's what they wanted to be pushing. So this is the third piece. It's an accelerator. It is losing at the moment. I totally understand why the community and ecosystem are naturally pushing back on wanting results and wanting more data and more information. I totally understand. So what I want to say very clearly is whatever happens, I'm running this program, even if I have to run it at a cost to ourselves, because we ran a great hackathon. I have loads of teams who really want to participate in the accelerator, and it would be a huge shame and detriment if it were not to run. So whatever happens, even if I have to run it out of my own pocket, which would be a bit of a disaster, but we'll soldier on. We're going to run this program, so I don't want people to think that just because we lose this, I don't want to be mean to developers that we've worked with for the last year, quite frankly. As that's the first thing. I'm going to run it whatever happens. I hope we receive the funding. This is actually part of a proposal that was initially agreed, or is the scope of it agreed in the first tranche, which is coming back for asking for the funding. We are working very closely with the Web3 Foundation. As mentioned, I am going to continue to add, we've already added one addendum to the proposal. I'm going to add another one with even more detail about the hackathon teams and the costs to hopefully satisfy the people that have had very reasonable concerns. I noted there was one very nice DAO who abstained for the sake of needing more information, which is a very nice way to do it. But as I say, we're going to run it. Hopefully it's successful. We try and do good work to bring developers into the ecosystem. I understand the frustration and the natural accountability. If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. As a side note, I'm sitting in a lovely building that Encode has opened as of a few months ago, which is a UK specific co-working and founder space where I'm hoping to run a number of Polkadot London and UK meetups, because I think the ecosystem could do with that. 6 stories, loads of founders. It's been very successful. If there's any friends here, someone's asked the ref, if there's any friends here that are in London or beyond that would like to come and co-work here or meet here, please do take this as an open invitation. Please do ping me. But I'm going to be running some London specific meetups, because I think that'd be quite fun to do. So all in all, if it passes, it passes. I hope it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's me, really. I'm happy to take any particular questions.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, do we have any questions or comments? So, I mean, it sounds like people are calling for results of the past spends. Have you been able to communicate the outcomes, the positive outcomes, or what's that about?
We've put a very thorough document together. I think I'd need to shout even louder about, and have the teams that did well shout even more loudly about the good work. That we run a very good education series and really good hackathon. I think one of the better hackathons in recent years within the Polkadot ecosystem, certainly by numbers. Hopefully Web3 Foundation will publicly endorse it as well, because we really worked in extremely close consort with them on every aspect of it, and to make sure it fitted what they wanted to achieve with the event. So It had like a lot of people take part. I think almost 1,000 people, a really load of submissions, involved a lot of ecosystem partners. I'd love to now add the acceleration piece to help the projects within it go to the next stage. And that's why I kind of want to do the acceleration piece, whatever happens, because as you probably quite rightly were thinking, the hackathon happened earlier in the year. How long are these teams going to wait for their next steps within the Polkadot ecosystem? So I don't really want to let them down and say, you know, that accelerator I promised you to be part of because you won a prize and you were a finalist, it's not happening now. That's gonna kill the good work that was done.
So yes, yeah. I'm looking through the proposal here. I'm trying to find where you consolidated these outcomes here. Can you direct me here so I can show it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Yeah. Because I would kind of lead with that, to be honest. You know, proof of work is kind of everything here. You know.
It is. It is on page 7 and 8. So we start from with being thorough. So we start on page. Where's that?
Okay, 7 and 8.
Page 4 and 8. We go all the way down into page 7 and 8. I think I'm going to go back and add a whole nother thing and be like, literally, these were the submissions. These were these are the teams themselves. These are the
for
people.
Real, yeah.
By the way, try not to do that. To kind of, we don't know how many people want all their submissions to be out publicly and be a bit respectful to the individuals. But I think I might have to be quite blatant, really, and say, no, there's all these great teams with all these great projects, etc.
I mean, no doubt. Look, you're asking for funds here. You really have to sell how good it is. you know.
Yeah, understand. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Okay, so what do we have left here? We have so we're gonna we have 8 days, 9 hours remaining. So this will actually still be in play by this
Yeah,
time next week.
I'll come back next week, answer any specific questions. We're going to throw even more data and the specific submissions at it, and again, que sera, sera. I understand the environment, I understand the climate. We signed up for this, so the scrutiny is a good thing. So que sera, sera.
That's good. Yeah, let's get some understanding of the value of this as well. I think that would be really strong there. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot for coming.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you very much, guys.
Alrighty. We have Mario back on the show. An old friend with the Ragoi project here. Now, I saw you in confirmation earlier this week, and I was excited for you, but looks like you got kicked out by some bully. Let's see what we have here. Was it 14Z that came in?
I don't know anymore who came in, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is, what do we have? I have basically 2 days remaining in the decision period here, and it is very close. You are, well, it's an 11 million spread, actually. Quite a lot of votes here.
Yeah.
So why don't we put 8 minutes on the clock? You tell us what you want to say, and then we'll have a little chat.
Yeah, good idea. So first of all, I want to start with thanking the people who votes for us. I mean, the Wagoi proposal was a kind of data economy platform for mobility, right? It's built for the 250 million EU drivers, and they could, for the very first time, get control back over their data, monetize their car data, etc. That was all possible because of the new EU Data Act. With this new proposal, was all open source and all on Polkadot, and we saw each other also in Berlin, Jay, and to be honest, we didn't had a plan to launch a new proposal on OpenGov. That was not the plan. But we talked with several people at the Web3 Summit, and was people from Parity, Web3 Foundation, other people, etc. And their message was, you know what, give it another try, because this could be a real world use case that Polkadot needs. That is the reason that I came back. Now, you were right. Our proposal was winning big. Multiple DVs voted yes, only Trustless abstained.
Right.
And then, that big wallet came in and he knocked us out of confirmation. And then I need to say the same story again. Please, if there is a dialogue or something else, that would help everybody. I mean, we're talking here about founders like me. We spent months building, we were talking, presenting, answering questions, and then it can all be undone with a large holder, a dot holder. And that does not feel unfair, but it does feel unfair if we don't know what the reason is. And for some reason, that needs to change. The voting without feedback at the very last minute, without the confirmation, it doesn't feel right. And I do understand that most people here in Polkadot, they focus on tech, right? I came myself from the PBA. It was, most of the things were tech. And I start to understand that that could be a problem. I saw it also with the Polkadot proposal last week, so it got accepted. Thank you all, everyone, for that as well. But some people said, hey, it's expensive. And then I need to explain what return on investment is, because every dollar that you spend on Polkadot, you get $3 and a little bit more back. And that's a little bit the same with Wagoi. I talked there about customer acquisition cost, CAC. And that's very important because, last week I got an email from Revolut, the bank there. If you bring in a new business customer, they will give me $600. $600. Salesforce and HubSpot in the very early days, they had a customer acquisition cost of around $500. And our acquisition cost is $132. So way less. So we bring in users at a cost of $132. That was this proposal. But, technology matters. If this does not fit Polkadot, I do understand. I look at it a little bit different. If I send you an email, you don't care if it comes from Google or Microsoft. You just want to have the email. Who cares about the underlying tech? And that's a little bit what I think. For users, it's about simplicity and value. And I think even for business, it's a little bit how they are treated here in Polkadot. And could be that we think that we must understand that today this is just not good enough. That we can help founders, we can help builders, but just doing it like this is just not the way. The only thing that I want to conclude with this, so I don't need the 8 minutes even. I don't have a presentation even. Who could imagine that? I only want to say to the big wallets, you could now say, hey, we do want founders. We do want user growth. We do want adoption. Because now it seems to me a signal to entrepreneurs like, hey, don't bother. We'll decide anyway. And the only reason why I'm still here is because I still believe in the Polkadot ecosystem. I did everything in the Polkadot ecosystem, but today belief is not enough. I think, if you send out later on a yes or no, it is what it is. Que sera, sera. It's the same what I heard before. But I think if those people can vote yes, that would be a signal, not for me, but for anyone else out there, that Polkadot is indeed a place where founders are welcome, where adoption matters, where users matter. And that's the only thing that I want to say, because I'm a little bit afraid what happens next. Because it could be, if we continue acting like that, there will be no next founders that will show up here. And that's a little bit what I want to say.
Mario.
So, que sera, sera. We'll see what will happen.
Mario, one thing I'll say to the language you're using here is you're kind of conflating the OpenGov treasury with Polkadot. Why are you doing that?
Okay,
that's not the case, right?
No, that's not the case. That wording is not correct. It's more, Polkadot users are voting on OpenGov, right? So it's
some of them.
Those two are not the same or not aligned. No.
Yeah, I mean, because we actually have 64 people voting on this proposal, and it doesn't really represent Polkadot. I mean, I'm just going to say
Absolutely.
that,
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
We've really, and this is kind of going to flow us into the next discussion here with Max, but the Polkadot OpenGov treasury has never been. It's been rare where we've kind of supported founders at early stages of the project. It's almost never happened. It's never really been the case. And of course, there's lots of people that argue that it should, and I'm not even taking a position there. But yeah, it really hasn't been the place. It's like OpenGov treasury is kind of a small aspect of Polkadot, very forward facing, but it's not all Polkadot. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And the proposal of Max, we talked also, Max, about your proposal, and I definitely support that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but there needs to be do something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to say that, but I do want to open up to anybody else who wants to talk about this. I wonder where the votes could come from here. What do other people on the panel think about this? Tommy, you got a big thought?
I like the idea of the product itself, and yeah, I agree with you, Jay. It's unclear if OpenGov wants to support those things.
Mm-hmm.
We have to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's check this out next week, Mario. It's really nice to have you on again, and your perseverance is laudable for sure. And
Thanks, Jay.
I know you have everything lined up here, just waiting to go. So I feel your pain, absolutely. But thank you very much for coming on and sharing.
No worries. Thank you.
To roll into the next, to roll into the next one here, which is sort of related, we have Max on the show. Hey, Max, welcome back. You have a forum post here. It's a discussion. It's called Public Consultation Post, Polkadot VC Bounty. Okay, so this is redefining at least a portion of the treasury for VC activities. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock, and why don't you introduce us to this consultation?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's kind of funny that I'm coming to speak right after Mario and like his sort of rather frustrating experience here.
Yeah, right.
Because, you know, in many ways, I guess part of the idea here is to improve this kind of experience here for founders. But yeah, let me take a step back. Currently, I'm at the PBA in Bali. That's why I'm wearing the PBA t-shirt. It's actually a really good cohort. Like there are lots of founders there, a lot of students at the PBA that are building cool stuff. I'm actually like a mentor at the startup sessions, which is essentially like refining the product pitch and then like, you know, finding investable products or, you know, things that are getting built on Polkadot. So I don't think that there are no founders here that are trying to build on Polkadot, but of course, like a question is how do we get them from having a nice idea to ultimately, you know, tying themselves to the Polkadot ecosystem. And, you know, especially now with like Hub rolling out, I think there will be a lot of, you know, cool projects coming to Polkadot that want to build something, but all of them kind of somehow need some sort of financing, right? They have overhead to pay, they have salaries to pay. And so I guess in the absence of changing anything now, like, you know, just continuing with the status quo, like what a lot of these guys are going to do is come to the treasury, right? And, you know, present their product and ask for a grant, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a grant, right? Anything that the treasury hands out to these projects and does not take equity in return is a grant. And this actually always felt a little bit weird to me personally, like running a VC fund, because if you kind of take the risk, because there are no guarantees in startups, right? If you take the risk, then, you know, whoever provides that funding should also have a share of the upside, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know, a rather obvious way of, you know, how to think about like capital allocation. And, you know, you share the risk, you should also have like a share of the upside. Currently, like the story is more like, well, the upside is that we're building on Polkadot, that we're bringing more transactions on chain, that we're bringing users on chain. But at the end of the day, that's not that much, right? It's something, but it's not that much. And if you compare it to other ecosystems, like, you know, I happen to know like Avalanche quite well, and also Arbitrum or the Ripple ecosystem, for example, you know, they all have like treasury funded, you know, VC funds that, you know, invest in projects. They don't give them grants, right? They don't really bother with grants almost. They always make investments, right? And then they hold like the equity of that startup on the balance sheet, right? And at some point, right, in the future, maybe in 3 and 5 years, they're going to exit it, right? And then they turn it into stable coins, and then they, you know, the treasury can do something else with that. And so I've been doing some soul searching. Why does this mechanism not really exist in Polkadot? And, you know, I think some of it has to do with regulations, right? That, for example, the Web3 Foundation, you know, for regulatory reasons, isn't really engaging very much as an ecosystem fund. And if you look purely at the treasury, right, then like no such mechanism exists. So that's kind of where this conversation that I had with like actually many different people in the ecosystem over the past couple of months, where it was like, well, why don't we try to create some sort of an on-chain, off-chain structure, right? The on-chain part being the decision-making, and the most interesting or the most Web3 native way to structure that is through a bounty, right? Because we have this bounty palette where you can have like a bunch of people coming together and make decisions, a bit like the marketing bounty or the events bounty, right? You have a bunch of curators making decisions together. But then what is different for a VC bounty than, let's say, the marketing bounty is that the investments, they somehow have to be held on behalf of the treasury in a way that is legally compliant and accountable and enforceable. Actually, enforceable is the most important word here, right? Because it shouldn't be like kind of a trust me bro thing okay, we get the money now, and then like the equity, sits somewhere in some entity, but that entity doesn't really have like a strong legal foundation or like a legal standing vis-a-vis the treasury. And it's not that easy to implement such a structure, but in this forum post that I made, I did lay out some sort of like an idea of a structure, how it could work by leveraging like our existing Cayman fund that we have, because a VC fund is essentially the right kind of entity that you need for that, because it has these strong legal assurances of the treasury actually being the owner of the equity that it invests in, and that it will get that back at the end of the investment period. But divorce the investment holding from the decision making. I think that's the kind of pretty interesting and pretty unique idea that I'm putting forward here, right? So the curators make the decision, the VC fund holds the investments, exits them, and repays the treasury at the end of the day. So that's kind of where we are now. I deliberately decided to call this like a public consultation post that I put up on the Polkadot forum a couple of days ago. So I would encourage everyone to read it and comment there, because this is indeed like novel legal territory, but I think it is pretty interesting territory, and I would love to hear like from people just generally how they feel about it, and most importantly, like how it could be structured in the best way. So I'm not saying that I have all the answers here, but I think the conversations that I had with many different stakeholders in the Polkadot ecosystem over the past couple of months leads me to the conclusion that we kind of need something like this, right? That there is an appetite for something like this, but the exact structure here will have to be fleshed out as part of this public consultation over the next month or whatever it is. So I invite everybody to read the post and reply there, or reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to hop on a call with anybody who has some ideas and would like to brainstorm together.
Okay, so just to summarize, you're talking about opening a bounty here that will basically be funds managed by your Cayman's foundation.
No.
Sorry, which ones?
The funds would be managed by the curators.
By the curators, but under the legal wrapper of the existing Cayman's Foundation?
Yeah, that would come later. So the curators would make the investment decision, right?
Yeah.
They would review all the potential projects they could invest in. And once an investment decision has been reached, it would be channeled through the VC fund.
Makes
because
sense.
That creates like the legal ownership assurances.
So the curators are also negotiating on behalf of the DAO to get a piece of equity from investments.
Exactly.
And then managing it all the way through. So this is actually this kind of add-on that can make the treasury useful as a VC. And it's an interesting thought, because possibly the reason why it hasn't been a VC is because we're just not equipped to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. Max, thanks for bringing this to the table today. And I'm going to put this in the chat so people can take a look and can debate its merits and offer suggestions to make it better. That's cool. Do you have any idea of the size you're looking at here, or we're just talking? We're just talking right now.
It's brainstorming. Also like the question whether it should be a global bounty or multiple regional bounties. Right? Like these are different options. Size, to be discussed.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it more. Thanks very much, Max.
Yeah. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. Now we have a very special treat from a new friend of the show, Tanisha. Tanisha, we had you here last week, but then we lost you, and I was so sorry about that. But we do get you back again. Here you are with a research piece. This is called Voter Behavior in Blockchain Governance, a comparative study of Curve Finance and Polkadot. Super cool. We're going to put 8 minutes on the clock and give you a chance to tell us about what you've learned here and share the knowledge. Thanks very much for coming.
Amazing. Thanks so much for the opportunity, everyone. Let me share my screen. I've prepared a little presentation to make the research a bit digestible for all of us. Why did we pick Curve and Polkadot? I think Curve Finance and Polkadot both use decentralized governance to manage upgradable contracts and system params. Typically, we've seen some very similar category, like like behaviors where financial proposals like Curve's gauge allocations or Polkadot's treasury spending make up like the bulk of most proposals. There is a difference, though, a very key difference, which is even though there is like a token lockup mechanism, Curve financially incentivizes governance participation by rewarding users who lock tokens based on how long they lock up. While Polkadot's does require locking, but does not provide direct financial rewards. And I know this is a very controversial take for many. Should governance be ever rewarded financially? And I think I don't intend to answer that, but I do intend to show some clear data points and like save my opinions for the very last. Disclaimer, I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes. Please do not hesitate to correct me. This is almost new for me. I have had backgrounds in working in governance in other systems. Substrate is relatively new, so be kind. Okay, so one very interesting trend. There's a very long research paper. I'm just pulling out the best trends as a TLDR for everybody here. So one trend that we found is we actually took all the voter personas in both the systems, and I'll just stick to Polkadot for now, where we said, let's bucket these token holders or these voters, and we bucketed them into like whales, sharks, dolphins, fish, and shrimps based on the amount of tokens that they hold. Now, very interestingly, we found that the bigger token holders, both in Polkadot and in Curve, actually prefer shorter lockup windows. A very interesting trend. Went on to study this in Aerodrome, absolutely same trend. I'll also share that newer research, that's work in progress, sooner than later. But we saw 93% whales and 98% sharks, especially in Polkadot, tend to lock up their tokens for 14 days or less. The hypothesis is, when I spoke to some of these whales, is they like liquidity and the flexibility to move funds. And that's why they defer to shorter lockup windows. Shrimps, on the other hand, the smaller token holders in size and volumes, are the ones that end up showing a lot of loyalty. They end up like locking in the longest. And that was one very, again, a common pattern across most ecosystems. One always optimizes for whales, but in governance, it's a good perspective to also think of like all classes of voters and design governance accordingly. The other thing we found, which was very interesting, is when we specifically went deeper into shrimps, because, hey, they're locking up longer. How do they behave in different market conditions when there's a downward market trend versus an upward market trend? So this is where we took the token price trajectory, went through checked their logs across like what is downward, what is upward. And we found very interestingly that during upward market upswings, shrimps in both systems ended up like utilizing both adjustments to their lockup duration. That is, they increased their lockup duration to get a higher voting power rather than increasing the balance of the token itself. And this was a very interesting, there was a particular group of shrimp voters in Polkadot that had that strong inclination, where they would, every time during downward trends, we saw this big shrimp group, we don't know if they're connected, raising their lockup window rather than increasing their lock token balance in order to boost their voting power, which is, again, an interesting way of how people like to boost voting power. Finally, let me show you some more. Yes, some, of course, voter turnout disparities. Curve had 65% of Curve locked as weCurve. Out of the 65% locked, an average of 38% was used for voting. Versus in Polkadot, we saw a stark difference. We saw, while there were like around 54 to 55% locked in multiple Polkadot lockers, out of that locked, only 0.11% were used for voting. And this is where I'm going to save my opinion for the very end, because what I love about Polkadot are the adaptive quorums and the methodologies you folks use in governance. But there's clearly a lot of work that we can do to kind of look at how governance can meaningfully play in token value accrual. This is one of the another interesting trend we saw in Curve. For example, we saw users locking up longer. So you could see 67.2% locking up for 4 years, versus in Polkadot, like 4% of those were locked up for the maximum duration of 24 days. I just want to be very clear here. These are all lockers, not just the democracy locker. we did. A little bit about me. I know I'm a new face over here, but I have been super passionate about governance. The last 5 years, I've been in blockchain. I've been an independent consultant because I've enjoyed working with different teams. It just expands my perspective on how I work on things. So I worked with Polygon on governance, innovation, Avail, VARA in Dubai, which is the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, Filecoin. They're still my current clients. Some DAO tooling companies and DAO, if you haven't entered crypto to DAO, have you even done it right? So DAOs were my early days, and now I've transitioned to working more deeply in governance innovation, where we study both escrow. One idea I have for this group, and again, apologies if I'm wrong here, what do you folks think about value accrual via governance for Polkadot? So imagine folks locking in DOT for governance. There are dual incentives. You don't pay for governance participation. You actually pay for locking in and securing the network. So you get a weight, you get a multiplier like you currently get, but you also get an APY. And this is not a burning APY. This is essentially being pulled from, if the stake was to be used for nominations for your validators, where it's being used for in-protocol staking, which is the safest way to use any staked amount, and the rewards from that nomination program and to those validators are circulated back to voters or to stakers who have committed to stake long-term with Polkadot, how would that result in the token value and the value accruals for Polkadot? Has this been explored before? Are we open to exploring this? Curious to get everyone's thoughts here.
Great.
And if this is a bad idea, hey, any governance or mechanism design that I can help with at Polkadot or with like teams affiliated, I'd love to. So shamelessly asking if there is room for another mind. Yeah, that's about me.
There's absolutely room for you on this stage and many in the ecosystem, Tanisha. Nice to have you here. And thank you so much. The enthusiasm is great to see. Okay, we just have like 20 seconds left. Tommy, did you want to say anything here? Or because I think you kind of been working with Tanisha here and introduced her a little bit.
We had one conversation. I really enjoyed it, like also the fresh perspective. I don't want to take the stage if anyone else wants to comment.
Yeah.
Else, yeah, I think it's like looking into how like whales are acting out or the different dynamics that we're having is a relevant thing to have. You're distracting me, Funky.
Time's up.
So that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice research. Oh, Tanisha, about the staking thing, you're probably already aware, but you do know that we can stake our tokens and then vote with those staked tokens. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah, you know about that part,
yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like, what if you had an APY component to it, not just a
On
voting
on top of staking.
Yeah. So you stake, and then you get a like an APY boost based on a bunch of things. And the underlying stake could go into like funding nomination program for validators, which is in protocol staking. So it's the safest kind of exposure to folks taking in long.
Okay, sorry. We're about to lose Funky here, and honestly, he looks extremely intimidating, so I don't want to mess with this guy. Tanisha, thanks. Let's have you back again and talk more, okay? Please, you're always welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Funky. Man, I'm sorry, dude. Okay, we're going to move on now to some refs on the go. Some refs that we've already been looking at. And wait, just real quick. Everybody on the panel has spoken who wanted to speak today about a new presentation, yeah? I think so. So we're just going to... Edgar? What's up, dude? What do you got for us?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the space again, AAG enjoyers. Yeah, I recently posted a post in the forum. So I would like to promote it here to get more views and to get more engagement on it.
Is it called decentralized identifiers?
No,
What's it
that's
called?
related, but that's not mine. The post I'm sharing it here with the chat.
Proof of personhood.
Basically, it's a proposal to address to get feedback on the sentiment the community have on having a platform, a special platform for verifiable credentials to get legal consentment to the treasury to the treasury agents that get the funding for certain projects and have legal lockdowns for it. And the the post is aiming to start incentivizing the conversation on Web3 Foundation and with the OpenGov community on what we can do about this. Because right now, currently, I have a beta to sign legal contracts with verifiable credentials and the KYC, the KYB, this process of attestations. And I was evaluating it, and I could insert the APIs for all the proposals on the treasury and have this proof of personhood linked to all the active issuance of the treasury, so we can have more logs on how the DAO interacts with all these external agents. But of course, this is something that I want to expand to meet other people on the community and other projects, legal projects, as the PGF, so we can acknowledge what can be done with this. And if the community is happy with it, because recently Gavin is working on the proof of personhood, but proof of personhood, the most important thing about that is the attestations process. So this post aims to work on that, and yeah, that's everything, guys.
Okay, so you're kind of looking to create a framework in order to give attestations to basically assign identifiers to people who are receiving treasury funds, and then they're able to sign a legal contract with
the DAO, with the treasury, with the OpenGov treasury,
with the Polkadot Community Foundation, or what's who are they signing with? Something.
No, I don't. That's why I want
question.
to get the conversation. Yes.
Right. And then tell me more about the proof of personhood component here, because you have like identifiers, right?
Yes.
And you could attach an identifier to an address or something like that.
Yes.
Where does the importance of identifying that it's an individual come from?
Okay. The proof of personhood right now, as the proof of ink with Kappa Sigma Mu,
Sure,
is like you have a chain of people that recommends the new member, right? And this attestation happens this way. However, not all the agents on the ecosystem and the digital world works like that. We have these legal frameworks and procedures to operate on certain legal frameworks. So the aim for these attestations is like something like the Polemic team did with Deloitte on attesting verifiable credentials for token token holders to invest on projects on Polemic on their initial ICO. And in this case, we aim to legalize or to have a legal framework to know all the DAOs and the actors participating on the DAOs to acknowledge that they are legal and are straightforward on how they are investing all the funds, right? Because one thing is the KPIs of the project, if it works or not, and the other thing is the project grifters, right? So in this case, we aim to have a proof of personhood that can be linked to the legal identity of an entity, a business identity, enterprise identity, with the founders on their legal state, and bring it to the blockchain so we can have traceability of that funds and hopefully have a legal enforcement on that if something is like very cautious for us to take care of.
Yes. Okay. So you're really looking to kind of set up something like creating a trusted attester of people's. It's a KYC. You're looking to create a KYC framework for people
and KYB.
And KYB
Both.
for people who are using treasury funds, and then not only establishing that, but then also having them sign legal documents somehow, probably with the PCF or something like this that represents the DAO.
Yes.
On the ground. Yeah. It's a mature discussion for sure.
yeah, and that's why I'm here to promote it. And and yeah, of course, I want the feedback because
Florentina's got the feedback. Florentina, hit us hard.
I'm in a plane, so I cannot really speak very loud. I'm not sure even if you can hear me.
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah.
No, I think it's interesting, but I haven't read yet Edgar's post, so I'll take a look at it. I was just curious about it. That was the emoticon.
AAG is worldwide at
Nice.
all altitudes. Tommy, what do you got to say?
I think the attestation makes sense. You can do a lot of stuff with that. I wouldn't bind to the contracts because that's a whole different territory, and it's a whole separate conversation. Because when the PCF can make a contract, they can make a contract, and then you don't need to you don't necessarily need on-chain information. But I think having information on-chain by itself is valuable. So I would focus the conversation on that. And then, for example, the DAO can say we want people to attest to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can attest many things like, well, the digital signatures about that, or all the hashes that they make for payments and expenses. And well, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Tommy. You're right about that. And yeah, hit me with your best talks and feedback.
Yeah,
there's the post.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for bringing it up. So the post is in the forum. It's called Proposal Leveraging Proof of Personhood and Verifiable Credentials to Protect the Open Gov Treasury. I think KYC is making its way into many aspects of the DAO.
Yes.
And it makes sense. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, though, it's a mature conversation. And thank you for bringing it up. Probably a lot of merit to going this way. But also, there'll probably be some people against it. So make sure you make your voices heard in the forum.
Yeah, thank you so much, and help me drive that beta to fit on the Polkadot OpenGov ecosystem. So yeah, I'm open to the feedback and to the features you think it should be there. So thanks, guys.
And there's the timer. You know, if any contracts need to be enforced, I think we should send Florida Man Funky. Nobody's gonna mess with us if we.
Yeah, he has a blue side, so he's dangerous.
I'll get his other eye.
All right. Thanks very much. Sorry, Funky. Sorry, it's just you know.
It's all good.
Just adding a little flavor
I hope
to the
everything
stream.
is okay.
We do. We hope everything's okay. Looking forward to Funky's show tomorrow. What time is that going to be, Funky?
12 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. UTC, I believe.
Yes, and you're going to stream it on your X account?
Should be on X, and I'm gonna try and do a live stream and audio onto the space if people just want to listen in and can't watch it.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes because I do have the equipment to do that and make it possible. So
damn,
that's the goal.
Very cool. Edgar, thanks very much. We're now going to move on and take a look at some refs on the go, starting with just retroactive 3.0 compensation. Where are we? Yeah, here we are. 99.9% in favor of this bad boy for 150-ish thousand USDC. We have 22.5 million votes on the I side there for Raul's and Otar's work, and love working with these guys. Very professional and smooth interactions with these guys all the time. Always has been. Thank you guys for your service. That is going to enter confirmation in about 9 days. The Pudgy Party ref, bringing the most beloved characters in Web3 to Polkadot. This is halfway through the decision period now for 2 million USDC. Quite a controversial one here. A lot of people calling for it to be put in the well-established mechanisms for marketing and events. But maybe looking for the headline here, not the headline possibly we were hoping for. 19 million on the nay side here, with 0.5% in favor. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. Hopefully they get some guidance to utilize the treasury in the ways that we've established for these sort of spends. We have a resubmission of the Clary's AI. This was about half the price of the previous, or something like that. 130,000 USDC for this, and still struggling on this 21.2 million DOT against. Has anybody on the panel had a chance to try out the beta? Because there's been some links being passed around.
I tried it out.
Yeah.
It got better. It got better since the last time I tried it. I tried it like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I could ask it about specific refs. It referenced the refs correctly. I tried to trick it with some fake graphs or making up numbers or something. I asked it to compare the capped and stepped proposals, and
I did that too. Yeah, and
it gave me a comparison table. It was on I think I would say it's like helpful. But yeah, voters have to decide if it's worth the money for them.
Yeah, I asked it to compare the two, and it was okay. And then I asked it about the reputation of the proposer, and it got totally off track there. And I don't know, it started talking about totally different proposals, so it got a little confused. So couldn't dive in there. I have an AI workflow that I do myself, and it works pretty well. But I wasn't able to squeeze out something like that quite yet from the beta that I was presented.
I was thinking about this. Personally, I use ChatGPT Pro, like Pro or Thinking for those things, and it just knows where to look. Or I have a little bit of a custom prompt where I tell it, look at the forum, look at Subsquare, and so on, and then it just catches things. So I think it's hard to beat that. But not everyone has access to those tools, so this is also something to consider.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean,
and I think where so is right is that it like accesses some external tools. So I think in general, maybe just exposing an MCP like this server that you can talk to, and you can use Claude and it talks to that server, because I think MCP will become more prevalent. And in the future, if you want to have like some kind of AI support, I would focus on the MCP servers, because they are the real like good, strong interfaces that you can build against, where it makes sense to like expose features to AI and it can quickly access that information.
Yeah, I'm using Grok, and Grok has this feature called projects. I think it's maybe called workspaces on ChatGPT or something, where basically I've given it some parameters. I can drop a link in or a few links in and ask questions, and it's pretty slick. Maybe we need some tutorials on how to use the existing tools.
True.
Yeah, that could be useful. Maybe more of a small tip. Okay, well, we'll have to see. We're missing Zoe today, but maybe she'll come back and tell us more, because this is just a quarter-ish of the way through the decision period. Okay, want to give you guys an update on Captain Stepped, because we just announced today that on Tuesday, Dr. Gavin Wood is coming for a live stream on the Coos, where he's going to be sharing his thoughts of the Captain Stepped inflation schedules that are up for vote right now, and basically going to work through the different points that he spoke about at the Web3 Foundation, because he laid out a little bit of a musing roadmap for economic reform. And there's a lot there that I want more information on, and I want to unpack. So we're going to do a live stream there. Comments are going to be open, so any questions or comments you have, we can bring them right to the man himself. We'll get him for an hour at 1:30 p.m. UTC and get his thoughts. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. He's been giving feedback along the way on the whole process here, but I want to see what he has to say in public, and also give you all a chance to ask him questions directly. So that is Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. UTC, and that'll be the last you'll see of me for a few days. I'm just going on a little bit of a break. First time in a long time.
The break?
I'm going on the big break. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, baby.
Tuesday to Saturday, I'll be back Sunday. But that's going to be my first break since I got involved with all you crazy kids. So that's going to be pretty fun. But let's take a look at the schedules right now. We have the hard pressure Captain Step supply schedule. This one is dominating. Wow, 91.3% in favor of this one. Let's check out the votes. So this is mostly held up by Kustot Delegate, and Kustot Delegate is about to lose their delegation. So that is 6 million votes that are going to be taken off the I side here, which is going to bring the vote to 10 million in favor, 1.5 million against. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but I presume it's sometime soon. We did have Permanence DAO come in on the nay side here, and I actually didn't appreciate the way Permanence decides how to vote. Based on how many people come in and whatnot. So I went into the Permanence DAO chat, and a bunch of people abstained, so now Permanence is abstained on this one. I also had an hour chat with them in their office hours yesterday, which was really professional. Total props to them, and very thoughtful questions and very sensible and reasonable conversations. So that was awesome. But Permanence is abstain right now. Chaos DAO also abstain. Jam implementers abstain. Yep. Who's on the nay side here? Ret DAO is holding down the nays. And yeah, we have this 3.6 million on the I side, this 1.75, and also Colorful Notions on the I side as well. Let's take a look at Medium. I haven't checked it out this morning. Medium is doing all right with 40.6% in favor. Again, mostly held up by Koos DAO here. On the nay side, what do we have? We have Permanence on the nay side and Ret on the nay side as well. But yeah, like I said, Permanence is thinking, so there's a lot of movement there. Soft Pressure, 9.27 million on the nay side here. Again, Koos DAO, that kind of irrelevant vote. Most of the nay pressure here. Ret DAO, otherwise holding up on the nay side. And not a lot of action on here. So we are, how far are we here? We are about a quarter of the way through the decision period. A week in. Oh, further on hard pressure. So hard pressure is already 13 days in, or sorry, already 12 days in. So about a third of the way through. And yeah, it's anybody's game. I'm looking forward to this conversation with Gav. Again, that's Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. UTC. And we'll see how that moves people's opinion, people who are sitting on the fence. And then, of course, we have the new delegations, and that's going to be a wild. That's the wild card here. So we'll have to see about that. When are those delegations coming in? I thought it was like now.
I think this is something like if the ref was posted before the 15th, then expect the votes to stay, but any ref after the 15th, don't expect the votes to stay, sort of thing.
Well, that's crazy.
If that's the case, then it's going to be a long time still.
Right. I mean, hard pressure and soft pressure were posted on the 15th.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun.
On the 15th at 4 o'clock a.m. I don't know what. I remember that night. Yeah.
You're going to get sniped out of confirmation.
We all get sniped. So anyway, that's going to be really interesting. Any thoughts from the panel on this so far? No? Tommy, you're still in favor of the medium?
Yeah, I'm in favor of the medium. If it's, very skeptical about hard, but like whatever comes out, we will deal with it. And in the end, I think the hard cap is what people will like keep in their mind, and then the schedule is a little bit of second nature relevance. Hard. So I think like even if we would at some point need to change the schedule, I think that's less relevant than the hard cap.
Yeah, both the hard pressure and the medium have the same 2.1 billion hard cap. Apologies, because on the Friday show I said 21 billion, and people were like, I hope not. But yeah, both hard and soft. Something we added here is you can compare all schedules with this link just above the photo on all refs. And this is a pretty nice one here. So you can compare them all side by side. So for instance, like you can look at all the schedules here just in one view. You can check out the blue line, how that looks. You can scroll down and you can check out the red line to see how the staking APR is going to look. You can check out the purple line to see what the market cap we'd have to maintain if we totally fail at revenue, what that would have to look like. And then you can compare the hard numbers here. That's probably the best place to look after you've kind of consumed the general philosophy of the move here. But yeah, okay, we'll check on that next week. And again, tune in Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. UTC on the Koos. It's going to be streaming on Polkadot account as well, so you'll be able to see that. Limo.
Yeah, just a quick one about this. Like I said, I think it was on Monday. I have had like inflation and uncapped supply be an issue for some like investors.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I'm like, for me, I don't really mind which one it is. I just think fixing that kind of hole, I guess, is like probably quite beneficial. But yeah, I don't really have any horse in this race unless Tommy threatens me in DMs to support the medium one.
I'm in support of hard and medium. I'm leaning a little bit more toward medium, but I'll take anything over the current schedule because yeah, my entire future is in DOT, so we need to do something different than we are now, which is looking a little ugly in my opinion. But do check it out yourself. Also on the go here, we have the Nova wallet. Oh, big 6 million against. Who's that? Jam implementers. Not a fan.
I'm still waiting for my feedback that supposed to happen. It's been about 10 days, boys.
You won't get any. They need me to.
And I'm joking.
Gem
It's
implant
whatever.
Venture's not satisfying the feedback requirement.
I think they voted me on Subwallet as well, and the feedback was about monetization. So we actually have a section in the referendum that talks about how we have tried to get other revenue streams with like validators and some like hydration swaps that we're leading everybody on by about 5x. So we are approaching this. We've even delivered some features for free. But my argument there would be look at other crypto wallets. The ways to monetize are generally by adding on-off ramp fees, which taxes users, by adding swap fees like MetaMask, which taxes users, and by adding like loads of commission or whatever, like CEXs do for staking. All of that is just taxing users, and I don't think the ecosystem is in the place right now in terms of adoption, especially just before like hub launch and everything, to be taxing primarily new users that are using Nova Wallet. To me, it doesn't make sense to go that route, right? Which is why we're exploring these other avenues. And I think in terms of other revenue streams, we have, I think we're doing the best out of all the wallets in terms of running infrastructure, like validators and collators, and collecting like swap referral fees and all this sort of stuff. So we are trying, but I don't think it's realistic to start I don't think we should do this anyway, but to start taxing users when we're in this like need of adoption, I don't think makes sense. It's the same as like, should Subscan charge $5 per user to see your transactions, or should RPCs charge a $20 subscription? I don't know.
I mean, you and I might pay for that, some of the people on this panel, but you know, the general user base is not going to pay that, and I'd pay it begrudgingly, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's one of them things where in my personal opinion, this isn't speaking for like Nova Wallet, right? I don't think it's like too realistic, but I understand the sentiment to try and reduce costs, and we are trying, as it says in, I think it's like section 3.2 of the referendum. We have like a actual section about that and how we've actually paid ourselves from that revenue stream to do some features already, right? So we are trying to go this route as well.
Yeah. Okay, but it's compared to the iVote, you're still at almost 80%. I think this is where you settled last time too, around 80% in support of the last funding. So.
Yeah, overall it's still pretty comfortable. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, good to talk about that anyway, because that's always on people's minds. Finally, the last referendum on the go that we've spoken about previously, Gossamer's contributions. So we saw Quadrivium come through just on the line. This one's sitting a little bit prettier at almost 70% in favor of the work on the core protocol, but a little outside the scope of parity and paid for by the Treasury. Chain safe. Again, coming from their alternative client, now working on the main protocol. And yeah, this is going to enter confirmation in 4 hours, actually. So we are just moments away from the confirmation on this one. And they are enjoying, what is that, 28 million DOT spread. So looks like this one should be good unless some bad boy comes in and crushes their dreams. That's everything on the go here. Before we get to the 3 confirming refs, I'll open it up to the panel to see if there's anything else we want to talk about this week. Been a hell of a show.
I have something after we go through the confirming refs, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, stay tuned.
2 things, actually.
Stay tuned for Limo's special announcements at the end of the show. But anything else on I'm just looking at the ref list here. So Subscan is enjoying 100% support and very early vote of their funding. 184.6 thousand USDC for a couple quarters. USDT, excuse me. Basti on vacation, grifting the Treasury for a vote to remain in rank 6 of the Fellowship. Grifting attention and votes. 30.1 million dot on the I side for Basti, one of the highest ranking members of the Fellowship. We had, sorry, this probably should be in the go here because we had them talking last week. This was under discussion, the Jam search tool. This is now a proposal for 25,000 USDC, and in the early vote, getting 68% support, but a long way to go for them because this is just 3 days old, 3.5 days old. So we'll check on that next week. Yeah, looking pretty good here. I think we're all just hanging back and waiting for the new DVs to come. I've reached out to all the DVs I could and invited them to the show, so hopefully we get a lot of action from them. Yep. Looking pretty good. Let's look at the refs that are confirming right now. Polkadot Africa Builder and Community Growth Continuation. They came in with a failed proposal initially, came back with about half the ask, 160.75 thousand USDT, and they're enjoying 82.3% support almost halfway through the confirmation period. Africa, super important place to be focusing on for many, many reasons, and we do have some people on the ground doing that there, so I'm pleased to see they're getting the support they need after they listen to the DAO's feedback on their initial ref. Definitely some committed people over there. And I think they shrunk the team down a little bit, narrowed the scope, focused the scope, and that's the result of that. We also have two from the Snowbridge team. One is the version 3 of their latest proposal to the DAO, and looks like we've settled on some consensus here. Almost 90% eyes for them nearly halfway through their 7-day confirmation period. So that's looking very good for the Snowbridge project. And they were also looking to recoup failed treasury spend from last time, 312,500 USDC. The DAO coming in strong here with almost 100% support for them to claim that, which they can in, looks like, a few hours, 7 hours, 13 minutes. So congrats to the Snowbridge team. Now, I know we've all been waiting for Limo to share two pieces of big news. Limo, take it away.
You are never going to believe it. It's actually 3 pieces of
Okay,
news.
okay. Looks like we have time. Let's go.
Okay, the first one is this Perk Assembly discussion by Nico from Velocity Labs. This is the DeFi infrastructure and tooling bounty. It's going to go for a top-up. It includes a bunch of information about what this bounty has done so far in terms of like integrating on-off ramps, CEXs, data analytics, oracles, tooling, like a bunch of stuff, right?
Yep.
I think it overshot its intended integration number by like 300% or something. Let me check. I think they said, yeah. So it was initial target of 10 and it got 30, which is pretty good. This includes stuff like integrating KuCoin, which obviously most people know that, Ripio, which is like the biggest CEX in LATAM, and a bunch of other stuff that's all in this proposal. I guess probably Nico will be on the show when this is in referendum stage next week, maybe, or whenever that is. So that was news number 1. News number 2 is while the show was on, the testnet for Holler on Hydration is live. So you can go to Hydration's Twitter account and look at the testnet and get involved with some Holler shenanigans. So hopefully mainnet pretty soon, which is pretty fun.
Oh, look at this.
Been waiting 3 weeks for that.
We have it. That's been a long 3 weeks. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, looking good. Look at this. Nice. Nice branding here. Feeling hydrated already. Cool. So that's on testnet. You can go check it out.
Yep, it's live now. I mean, it sends you to like a DApp that looks like Hydration, but it's a testnet one.
Yep.
I think Ben Lolmutshiz is trying to get people to buy HDX, so 1 HDX equals 1 Holler, I believe. If you want to take part in that, go ahead and do that. And speaking of hydration,
ooh, look at this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
this is the Dot Lake parity data team chats. A lot of activity on hydration over the past few days. If you scroll down, there's like number of active accounts has skyrocketed, number of new accounts has skyrocketed. I believe the number of transactions as per subscan that's up more up to date than this, because this is like lagged by a day. But I think it broke like all-time high transaction count yesterday or something, according to my sources. It's going pretty good. This is all primarily non-Web3 people that are Counter-Strike fans that are downloading Nova Wallet and getting involved in Nova Shots. It's free to play prediction game that we spoke about last week. And it's all running on hydration and it seems to be going pretty well. There's a lot of users. The total users right now, and this does include a few people that have botted, they have been banned. The total users is 7,200 right now, which is pretty nice for day 2 of the tournament.
Damn, that's amazing. Very cool. Congratulations, man. I feel like this is just the beginning of Noah Shots.
I hope so. It's going pretty well. Every time we do one of these tournaments and stuff, we see things to improve, right? But yeah, it's going pretty well. Seems to be this like prediction market thing's pretty popular. Hopefully we get like a fully fledged one with the hub as well. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty happy with it.
Cool. Thank you very much, Limo. An exciting way to end the show. And yeah, that's it for this week. We're going to be back on Monday to talk about Kusama. Of course, not before Space Monkey Sunday with Cameron, co-founder of Mythical. He announces something on the podcast that he said he's absolutely allowed to talk about, but I haven't seen it on any official any official publications yet. So you can tune into Space Monkeys to hear an exciting new product coming from the guys at Mythos. Very cool, actually. That's happening on Sunday. Big Friday.news pump tomorrow. And yeah, then a big week ahead. Oh yeah, remember, Gavin on Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. UTC. And then I'm gone until Sunday. Guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you very soon. Love you lots. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.